Hey there YouTube fans, AC Productions here, and today I'm going to be showing you on how to install a Bluetooth Multicolor LED kit on your bike. Now the LED kit I'll be using is from LEDGlow, and here it is. It's an advanced million color motorcycle lighting kit, and as you can see, it's the brighter LEDs because they use the bigger square, which is called a 50/50 LED. This is the kit I'll be using, and it's a Bluetooth. Also, this is it comes with 10 LED strips inside. Now the bike I'll be using to do this install is going to be a 2011 Yamaha R6. Now the installation I'll be doing, even though it's a Yamaha R6, I'll be showing you on the locations that I would normally put LEDs is anywhere there's like a hole in the air of the fender. So I'm going to be installing a strip right over here because there's a little hole right here, so you'll be able to see the glow. So besides here, I'm going to install here in the front, right over here, probably around the engine area over here if possible, and then towards the back end over here. And then after that, we'll see on what other areas we can install some LEDs if we have room. I was going to install some on the bottom of the bike over here, but upon inspection at the bottom there is no surface area for me to install an LED strip. At least not any long ones, of course. If I had some small ones, maybe we could get away with putting some small ones down there, maybe like a 4-inch strip right over here in the front, and then over here in the back it'll be just one strip of going across. But we'll see when we start undoing the kit. Alright, so let's get started. So depending on the bike that you work on, if it's an R3, you're going to need to remove your passenger seat, your main seat, and the little plastic piece that goes between the passenger and the driver's seat. So you're going to have to remove all that because you need to get to the battery. On this R6, we're going to be removing the driver's seat to get to the battery. This is not going to be an in-depth detail installation. I'm just going to be showing you on placement of LED strips and how to wire and connect them. At this point, it's not too hard to remove the body panels. It just depends on your bike. And if you're doing this installation, you should be able to know on what screws to remove your fairings. Let's get started. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to put your LEDs out to get a better idea on the sizes and where you're going to be installing your LED strips. Here we have two of the 10.5-inch strips. Then we have two 8.5-inch strips right here. And then over here we have four at 4.5 inches strips, and then over here we have two of the 4-inch strips. And then over there is your Bluetooth module, so you could power up these lights. Alright, so next, after you place know which sizes you're going to be working with over here, next is you're gonna want to know where you're going to be installing these LEDs. On this bike, like I said, had showed earlier, we're going to be installing some ones in the front here. So just make sure that you separate these. Since this is a 10-piece kit, you're going to do 5 pieces on each side of the bike. At this point, we're going to start separating. I will know on where I'm going to be putting the LEDs. For these two kind of bigger strips, I'm going to put the main big one in the front and this a little bit smaller one towards the back tail end. And then these other littler ones we're going to put alongside the side of the fairings of the bike. Okay, now that you've separated your strips 5 and 5, because this is a 10 strip kit. If you have a 12 kit, you just pretty much whatever kit you have, just divide it by 2 and then just make sure that you separate them, because whatever you do on one side, you got to make sure you do the same thing on the other side. Okay, now that I've already gotten one fairing off, I've already taken out the driver's side seat. So we're going to get on to installing the LEDs. Now I'm going to probably pretty much do the easiest right now first, and that's going to be installing one strip of LEDs here on top of the windscreen. This is where the customer that I'm doing this for wants the LEDs, so I'm going to put 2 strips here, one on this side and then continuation one on that side. Since on this bike it doesn't have enough surface for me to put an LED strip here in the bottom, as you can see on the bottom of this fairing there is no place for me to attach an LED. Maybe a tiny one there, but that'll be pointless to have one right there. Mainly I wanted to have one here at the bottom of the strip, but then, since there's no spot for me to put one, we're not going to be able to put one there. So instead of having it there, we're going to put it on the top part of his windscreen. So first things first, we're going to grab our clean piece of paper. We're going to grab our alcohol, and then we're going to wipe down the surface area of where we're going to be installing the LEDs. By doing this, we will be cleaning the area, so that way it's free of contaminants, and this will allow the backing of the LED strip to stick a lot better to the surface. Okay, now that I've already stuck the strip on here, as you can see, Now all these cables or all these LEDs come with very long extensive cables, and as you can see the kit also comes with this one connector, and it spider webs into 5 or 6 connectors. So when you put it on, it spider webs out to the front of the fairing or the back or whichever. So pretty much as you're connecting the LEDs, you're going to be connecting one by one to these connectors. Here is our Bluetooth module, and as you can see, it comes with one male connector, one for each side, so one for this side and one for that side. And then there's 2 of these, which connects to the one I just showed you. So it'll connect here, and then this thing spider webs out. Oh, there it goes. I have a backup. So once you connect this piece to the Bluetooth module, and then this part spider webs out to the other LEDs that we're trying to connect. So now that we've connected that, we're going to run the line, and we're going to tuck it away and hidden as much as possible, and then we're going to connect it to these parts of the connector. So right now we're not going to do anything. Right now we're just going to be sticking the LEDs onto the body panels, one right here, and like I said, we're going to be doing one in the front, which is going to be the bigger one, and then the second biggest is going to be towards the back tail end. So now we're only left with one small one and one medium-sized one, and the medium-sized one we're going to put on the other side of this part of the fairing, and then the small one, I'm going to have to put the fairing back on to really see where we're going to put the next one on. So I'm guessing pretty much around over here, maybe over here, but we just kind of want the even glow to continue on. Okay, so next we're going to install one of the, I would say, let me grab one so I could show you in comparison. So these are the 2 that we're going to be installing on the fairing. We're going to be using this little bit bigger one, and we're going to put it along on this part, right where the R6 emblem is. So we're going to put this one like that, and then this little bit smaller one we're going to put on this bottom part right here. So it'd be like something like this. To show you from the other side of the fairing, once we flip the fairing over, we're going to put this one more closer to the top edge here. So we're going to get our alcohol paper towel, and we're going to clean this area over here, and we're going to install our LED like so along the top edge here. And then for the other one, the other bottom part, which is going to be, I would say probably around this area. From this area, on the other side, we're gonna clean it, and then we're gonna place our LED like so here. That's the next spot we're gonna do. Okay, now that I've already put the LED, so if I flip it over, as you could see, I have one strip here, and the other strip is right there. On this one, I was able to tuck the cable through here so they could all just come out through one over here. All the cables are going to be stretched out, and then we're just going to tuck it in as soon as we put it through back on the bike, and kind of hide the wires so they could go towards the back area. I'm going to do the front LED last, because I want to have everything kind of on there so I could really pinpoint on where I want the LED strip to go. Okay, so next what we're going to do is we're going to move over to the back end of the bike here, and we are going to install our strip over here. Okay, so now for the rear LED, I have it right there, as you can see, and I also tucked the cable in through here, and it just comes out right here. Now where I base, I always try to look for a point to install to make sure I get an even level with the other side of the LEDs, and I chose right here towards this like little pointy area, because here's the plate and then over there's the tail light. So here's the point where I have selected. That way I know when I go to the other side and I just look for this same little area, I could put the LED there, and I'll know that the LED strips are equal and even to each other. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this fairing back on the bike, and then route all the cables so they're neatly and out of the way. Okay, so pretty much this is just the fast forward, since you already put all the LEDs in the spots that you wanted, and you had rerouted all the cables towards the back. As you can see, it's a pretty big mess of wires. Now next what we're going to do is we're going to position our Bluetooth sensor. I figure we put the device for the Bluetooth in the passenger seat up high, so that way it'll get the best reception from your phone. So on this R6, luckily there's like a little spot right here. I think it'd be perfect right about there for the Bluetooth sensor. What we're going to do now is we're going to grab our double-sided sticky tape, and then we're going to put a little piece over here and then stick it right over there. But for your bike, just try to look for the best location. If you do happen to have a little bit of space in your passenger seat to put the module, then you could go ahead and put it there. But if not, maybe you want to just put it somewhere around near the battery compartment area, but not too close to the battery, because you don't want any interference between your connection. Okay, now that you've tidied up the wires a little bit from where your Bluetooth sensor is, I kind of took the wires under here and have it coming out through this bottom area. Now next what we're going to do is we're going to grab the power and the positive and negative cable, and I'm going to crimp these little guys on there. So that way when we put the connector on there, it's a little bit more of a secure connection. So I got two of these. Either these type of connectors, or if you got the ones that have that like little hole in it, those will be the best to use, because then you'll know you definitely have a secure connection and don't have to worry about the cables actually coming out. But for now, this is the only thing I have, so this is what I'm going to use. Okay, so now before I actually connect all of the cables, for the Bluetooth, so we're going to put these cables here, and then we're going to grab all our cables that we have from our LEDs, and then we are going to tidy up this mess of wires, make it a lot more neater, and then we'll go ahead and power it up. Okay, so I was able to sort of almost tidy up the wires as best as I could on this bike. I tried to do my best. This is the only compartment or the area that I was able to put all the cables all together in one spot. Alright, so now that you've already tidied up the wires on your bike as much as you could, it's going to be a lot of wires because they just come like that and there's no way to shorten them. Well, actually there is, but that is super time consuming, and you definitely don't want to be doing that. Alright, so now that you've already tidied that up, now it's time to connect your Bluetooth system of your LEDs and also your cables for your bike. Okay, now that you're done with the installation, all that's needed to do is to download the app, and that's it. So you download the app and then just push this button and you'll turn on the LEDs. And then you're able to use the app and you're able to control the LEDs. You could actually do part of the bike one color, the other part of the bike a different color. It's pretty cool. So here's a close-up of the app, and use your finger to move around the colors. And as you can see, the front and the back is getting a different color as I move it around. And then once you select the color you like, you press this button. It saves it, and now you're able to control a different part of the bike and set a different color. One part of the bike is like a bluish color. Now we're setting the other part of the bike by the fairings, maybe this reddish purplish color. And once you're satisfied with that, you can just push the circle button, and it's just every time you push that circle button, you're saving the settings for one side of the bike, and then you can just mess around with the colors. And and there's also brightness, there's speed, then there's modes over here you could select. Now I'm not going to go through everything, but you could select solid color, fade. There's so many options on here that you'll never get bored with this million color LED. So that's pretty much it for the installation of the multicolor Bluetooth LED set. So that concludes the installation of the video. Hopefully you guys found it helpful. Sorry guys if it wasn't a complete teardown of a bike and the ins and outs, but I was just showing pretty much on locations of where to install LEDs and then pretty much how to wire up the control box. If you found my video helpful, please like, subscribe, and leave any comments below. Thanks for watching.